Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece card game. Set 5 is in full swing as we approach the end of the year. We've had 3 major regionals over this past weekend. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the results. But before that, I want to thank Lore Cards for sponsoring my recent giveaway for 8 double packs for One Piece 05. You can check out the results of the giveaway on YouTube now. Thank you so much, Lore Cards, for sponsoring this giveaway. If you are interested in any singles or any sealed product, you should check out Lore Cards linked in the description below. And I hear there might be more of these to come, but let's see who's winning this first giveaway. We're coming up to the end here. Who's it going to be? George C5541. I will be sending you a message on YouTube, so you can please keep an eye out for that, George C5541, so we can arrange shipping and we can get these prizes over to you. Which, reminder, is the full pulls of 6 double packs. Highlights include, oh, I've got to go back to my main camera here. Highlights include this little Oda Luffy, this Gear 5 Luffy, all these Don. Oh, look at all these Don. Wow, some base rarity leaders. The pulls weren't that great, guys, I'm not going to lie, but hopefully the next one will be bigger, because I can tell you there will be more of these coming. So I'm sorry to everyone who did not win today, but there will be more of these giveaways. And remember, patrons get extra entries, so if you're interested in improving your odds, you should check out my Patreon, linked in the description. In-depth guide to Sakazuki is up there. Kind of relevant to this video, I think, but there we go. Thank you so much for entering. Please do check out Lore Cards. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Check out my Patreon, like it. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And those are the results. And if you won on Twitter, I have DM'd you, so please do check that out. Let's go ahead and get started with these results, because there's a little bit to talk about. So firstly, we've got this 3-on-3, and this was interesting. I think Lore, firstly, is massively overrepresented in 3-on-3 as a result of the fact that it's teams. You're not going to play Sakazuki every round, whereas you're actually much more likely to play against Sakazuki in a non-team environment. So firstly, I think Lore's a lot better than it actually is in the format. But secondly, I was it is hilarious that Sakazuki is, of course, exactly 1/3, because it's in every single team, because the deck is fundamentally ridiculous, and it's crazy. And finally, congratulations to the first place team. Well, actually, no, Nikki. So, well done. Well done. Great job, man. Congratulations. But let's go ahead and take a look at these lists. So, firstly, here we've got the Nami list. And this is a pretty standard Nami list. I think, we've all seen the way the deck has just sort of moved. It's cool to see the Nojikos in there, because a lot of other decks don't play that. It's obviously being used as a 2k counter. But also, unless I'm just bullshitting and it's not a 2k counter and it's been that long since I've looked at an army card. I think I might be bullshitting. Anyway, it bounces the 5 cost. It bounces the 5 cost. And that is really, really useful in just setting your opponent back. This deck is really, really good because into a lot of the meta, they're kind of slow, right? NL's not really doing anything. Neither is Sakazuki, right? Like, it plays stuff out, but like, it's primarily a removal play sort of thing. So like, if you're not really giving it a board to remove, it's just sort of playing kind of mediocre bodies out. Of course, into Pluffy, things can be really quite stressful, but outside of Pluffy, which is going to be a minority in this team's environment, I think this was a really, really solid meta call, and it clearly worked. And it's great to see Nami get, I think, its first win. And yeah, this is a good list. Next, we have got the Sakazuki deck, and yeah, I like this list. The Soga King is spicy, and there's a lot of sort of variety here, just in terms of the tech choices, right? But if you drill down to brass tacks, this is an extremely standard list with like the flex spots being flexible, right? Like, if you remove the Kobe, the Soga King, the 2 Kaidos, and the stage Navy HQ, that's 5 cards, right? It's 45 cards, identical to every other list, because that's just Sakazuki. The list is largely solved at this point in time. We know what works. And this is absolutely, you've taken his 5 flexible slots and he's done what he wanted with them. And, congratulations to the guy for the first place. Clearly, he's a very, very good player, because you have to be to win with Sakazuki. The deck is not autopilot by any means. And yeah, I like this list. Kobe is one of my favorite tech choices, personally. It can sometimes be a little hard to justify the space, but the card is just that good. Being able to just pop a 3 off of Rebecca can sometimes really be make or break, which is really, really nice. But yep, that is the list over on the side for Sakazuki. And then we've got the Lore list. This is Lore. Pretty standard, good lore. Seeing the Dogra coming in again. I think Nikki cut that Dogra for a little while, but it's back. Always great to see that there. And yeah, I mean, it's lore, right? Like we all know what lore does. It does lore things. On to the second place deck. So here we've got Enel, and this is the most standard Enel list I think I've seen. You see Thunderbolt here. You don't see Thunderbolt in JP because they've got Zorro. That's the only reason. And there's a cool little spicy category thrown in there. But yeah, by and large, a very standard list here. A lot of lists have moved towards playing Big Mom as opposed to Enel. Personally, I think that massively weakens your Sakazuki matchup. But hey, man, do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. But yeah, I mean, Enel's Enel, right? Like it cockroaches. Then we've got Sakazuki, and again, as we look through this list, Bartolomeo was a Kobe in the previous one. There is one less Kuzan here, but one more Borsalino. There's still the same number of Navy bases. There's an extra Ice Age, and then there's two Kaidos as well. So, I mean, you know, the areas where things swapped around, right? Like the Soga King became an Ice Age, the Kuzan became a Borsalino, the Kobe became a Bartolomeo, and the rest of the list is identical, right? Like, so it is a pretty, you know, it's standard. It's Sakazuki, right? Like, we know what we're expecting. And then finally, we got Ploofy here, and this is looking like a very standard, good Ploofy list. Yep, no complaints here. I like the fact that 7-cost Kid is down in the gutter where he belongs because he is atrocious into Sakazuki. He's broken into everything else, but like you're going to be playing Sakazuki. To be fair, I think this could have been greedier. I think you could have played more of this into this team's meta, knowing that you weren't going to be playing Sakazuki every round. And even if you did, it's still very winnable. So yeah, but overall, a great list. On to the core TCG LA regionals, which it doesn't make sense to me. So this is just best of one. Again, like why does this where's your top cut? Like I don't know, I'd find this really frustrating if I play through an entire thing best of one and I don't get my top cut, and this isn't the first time we've seen this happen in US regionals. So yeah, top four, well, first place is Enel, goes XO, and then all same ranking is Enel, Luffy, Saka, Enel, Saka, Luffy. So yeah, the fourth place one though, of course, was ST10 Luffy, not purple Luffy. So seeing Saka in the gutter, relatively speaking, compared to its previous showings, and actually if we look at the conversions here, Enel did really well in the conversion rates. So did Luffy, so did Whitebeard. They did very, very well. So did Ploofy did pretty well as well. But Sakazuki, of course, had the second best conversion outside of Enel, which Enel had amazing conversion. So yeah, looking like those two decks had the best conversion, which is very interesting. I think Enel's more a result of the field, and Saka's probably a result of good players playing it. Because I mean, Enel, of course, you can have great players, but I think there's a lot less room for skill expression in that deck. I don't know, but I don't know. I could just be very biased. So let's have a look at the first place deck here. The first place Enel. And this is, once again, a mostly standard Enel list. It's playing a bit more top end. We've got the Big Mom and the Enel and the Katakuri and the Yamato. But outside of that, seems fairly standard here. Yeah, good deck is good. Then for the second place Enel, again, very, very similar. It's playing the L4s though, where the previous list wasn't. But otherwise, I mean, it's Enel, right? Like we all know what that deck does. Then we've got Ploofy here, and this is again a very, very standard list. This one's not playing the 2K counter Water 7, which is a name I forgot. But it's playing some extra vanillas, which, yeah, I mean, that works. I think they just wanted to flex like as many different one-offs as they could, which is pretty cool. Lots of different 4/6s. When they don't matter, so it's funny. I like that. And then the ST10 Luffy here is the most bog standard list here, and it's just good. It's just really good. You have lots of consistency, you have lots of ramp, and you just go 9-bid, 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 10 cost Luffy, and I win. So yeah, deck is really, really good. If anything, I would probably want some more Diablo Jambes in here. That's the only thing I would change, but I haven't got a second place finish, so what do I know? And finally, we have got the Paris Treasure Cup, and here we got first and second place, both being Sakazuki, third place for Whitebeard, and fourth place for Sakazuki again, and then top 8 Saka, Kata, Saka, and top 16 Saka, Law, Kata, Saka, Luffy, Zoro. Yeah, Saka, very, very, very highly represented here in the top cup, which makes sense. I think Europe seems to be most clued up on what's good at the moment, which, you know, it's not throwing shade at America necessarily, but let's see how Worlds goes. Let's begin with the first place Sakazuki deck here, and yep, this is just a very good list. You know, there's nothing really spicy to talk about. It seems like 3 Ice Age has become fairly standard, and I like that. I think I quite like 3 Ice Age. It's something I've, you know, pivoted in and out of. I think the only thing I can say with this deck is it doesn't really have a turn 2 play going first, right? It has brand new Orhina. That's fine. You know, it's fine. Swinging 8 is really not that big a deal. It does not lose you the mirror match. But yeah, that's worth saying. And I think the Sabo is probably put in a good amount of work. The second place soccer list, here it's playing the Hina. I really hate Hina. I really don't like this card, but I don't know, some people swear by it. That's cool. This is also playing the Tenkos Kaido, and it's playing 1 less Ice Age, 1 fewer Ice Age, I should say, and 1 fewer Sabo to sort of, and 1 fewer Borsalino. And I think that Borsalino really does matter, but I don't know, it's so hard to find space in all these decks. You're always just chopping and changing, and it's just like such a tiny little difference here or there. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good list here. And then we got the Whitebeard deck, and this is it's Whitebeard, guys. Whitebeard does Whitebeard things. The Nico Robin, incidentally, is insanely good as a result of Rebecca being just basically everywhere, like the Rebecca blocker. So super good into that. But yeah, it's Whitebeard. We all know what that does, though only 2 Otama is interesting. And finally, we have got the 4th place Saka, which is again just a good looking list. It's playing a Virgo as an extra 2k counter. It's playing a Kobe as like a flex slot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like these are all fairly standard lists. So there we go. Overall, what are our interpretations of this early meta? Yeah, Sakazuki is king. This is not surprising, but lots of other decks can compete. Whitebeard showing up on its first tournament back is hilarious. But of course it did. Of course it did. And of course it was in Europe as well, so I can't even slander America. Yep. But obviously seeing Enel doing really, really well, seeing Katakuri doing pretty well, seeing Pluffy doing very, very well, seeing red-green Luffy doing very, very well. So lots of decks are competing here. I do think Sakazuki is the best, but I also think it's not a tier 0 format at all. Like, you know, Sakazuki only won 1 event, right? Like, it's very much possible for it to lose. So there we go. That is it for this video. Hope you guys found this useful. Like the video, subscribe if you're interested. Check out my in-depth guide to Sakazuki, linked in the Patreon down below. It's $5. It's super worth it. You get extra entries into giveaways. One of those just happened recently. You should check out, I mean, I talked about it in this video, but, you know, check out Lore Cards. Thank you so much for sponsoring that giveaway. And that's it for the shilling. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers.